where does fat go when you lose weight?
Yeah, where does fat go when you lose weight? I really like this question because everyone's always talking about, going down the gym and burning off fat and stuff like this. So, I thought, well, where does it go? Have you ever thought about it? I don't know. Have you? Have you ever thought about that, Tom? Where does fat go when you lose weight?
Well, I thought you burned it as energy, so you use it as energy. But in terms of an actual scientific explanation, which I'm sure you have got, I bet that pales in comparison.
Well, here goes. So when you lose weight, when you burn fat, right? I kind of hadn't really given it that much thought until quite recently. But have you ever stood on a scale and when you're trying to lose weight? Because I do a diet which is a fasting diet, so I fast every other day. So I monitor my weight quite a lot, and so when you're standing on a weight, when you're standing on a scale and you look at your weight and you've lost a bit of weight, just where does the weight go? How does it get out of your body? Because you know what I mean? It must go somewhere. And so I thought, well, do you poo it out? Is that how it goes? Because it must go somewhere, right? Fat weighs something. That's what makes you heavier. So do you poo it out? Do you burn it as energy? That was another question I thought, because that kind of makes sense, right? So if you burn it as energy, does it go out of your energy as heat? Or how does it work? So yeah, after I researched it, it's quite interesting. It turns out that fat is energy stored as fat cells called adipocytes. And adipocytes are filled with molecules called triglycerides. And, we store fat cells when we have a surplus of energy. So in other words, when you eat more than your body needs, and then you start getting fat. So when you eat fat, or you eat food, if you eat food, energy or calories, the food isn't actually inside your body. Well, I guess it's inside your body, it's in your intestines and your stomach and things like this, but it's not converted into energy as such. To do that, you need to digest it, and this is a biochemical process that happens. So you convert the food into energy. So once you've digested the food, you can metabolize it, and that's where it can be converted into energy. And so when you use more when you eat more food and you take on more calories than you need, your body doesn't waste it. It just stores it as triglyceride molecules. In other words, it stores it as fat cells. So anything you eat that can't be digested doesn't get stored as fat. So anything you eat which cannot be digested by the body just gets pooed out. So poo is mostly made of fiber, a few molecules of cholesterol, or in my dog's case, anything plastic that my daughters leave lying around on the floor. But one of the really cool things that I discovered was, amazingly, every time you poo, about 500 billion bacteria, which have been living inside your gut, get pooed out and go on a long journey down the loo and into the sewage system. So essentially, you never poo fat out. So the only thing that you ever poo are things that were never digested, so they were never converted into fat. So poo doesn't get burnt. It doesn't get pooed out. Fat poo does get pooed out. Or you hope it does. Fat never gets pooed out.
You mentioned poo so many times.
Well, when you talk shit, you get talking poo. Pardon my French. So anyway, to make fat cells, it's you need to eat more calories than you use. That's how it works. It's a foolproof formula for this. Is just to lounge around on the sofa, eating cakes and cookies, and do next to no exercise. Then the body will soon get busy making cells filled with triglycerides or fat molecules. So if you wanna do an experiment, that's the way to make fat. So making fat's easy. Just don't do much exercise and eat too much. Easy. Now the scientific formula for the average triglyceride or fat molecule is C55H104O6. So in other words, it's 55 carbon atoms and 104 hydrogen atoms and 6 oxygen atoms. And some molecules have a few more carbon atoms or hydrogen atoms, but all of them have 6 atoms, 6 oxygen atoms rather. So that's the average fat cell, the fat molecule rather. So C55H104O6. So to burn off fat, you know, everyone says burn it off, go down the gym, burn it off. Actually, what you need to do is oxidize the triglyceride molecules. So this isn't really burning anything, and there's no heat. So we don't burn the fat off. Instead, it involves another biochemical process. A foolproof formula for doing this, for so-called burning off fat, is actually to stop eating cakes and cookies and get off the sofa and go down the gym. That's a really good way of doing it. So in other words, eat less calories and do more exercise. And if you do that, your body will then dip into its fat reserve and it will start oxidizing the triglyceride molecules. And through this biochemical process, it will turn them back into something else, and this something else is what happens to the fat when you lose weight. So triglycerides, or fat molecules, are carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and though, you know, we don't burn them or poo them, we breathe carbon dioxide. In fact, we don't breathe as much carbon dioxide as my science teacher told me. He actually he told me, we breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. And that's what he said. He was a very, very interesting man. But in truth, we breathe in whatever is in the air. So that includes all sorts of, you know, stuff. And if you're unlucky, then it's, you know, some pretty nasty chemicals or, you know, whatever gases that are in the air. So we breathe in oxygen. Yep. We use that. Our body requires oxygen. But we also breathe out a lot. We're not as efficient as we think. We breathe out a lot of oxygen. And in fact, only about 5% of what we breathe out is carbon dioxide. But if we're losing weight, and you know, some of the triglycerides are being converted and oxidized, then some of the carbon dioxide that we breathe out is actually in the form of converted fat molecules. So when the body needs more energy or calories than we eat, we dip into the fat supply and oxidize these triglycerides, and we convert them into carbon dioxide, water, and energy. So we do use some energy, and that's the energy that we require. Most of this energy is used to regulate body temperature, to keep the heart pumping and all these other things. So going down the gym and doing physical exercise never seems to burn off as much energy as you think. If the average person's using, say, 2,000 or more calories a day, and you go running, you know, jogging for an hour, you probably lose, what, 600 calories or something like that, which isn't a great deal. The vast majority of the calories are used up by your body just maintaining, you know, your body temperature, breathing, keeping your heart pumping, the blood around your body, and so on and so forth. However, if you use up more calories for this, more energy than you eat, then you'll dip into the fat supply and you'll oxidize these triglycerides. So then what happens is that we'll breathe out carbon dioxide, and some of that will be the fat cells. And the fat cells will also go out as carbon dioxide, and we'll also wee out some of it as well in the form of water, because some of it, you know, is water, and that will go out in wee, sweat, or we might even cry it out. So we can actually measure this as well. This is the interesting thing. So we can measure how much the average fat molecule weighs. And we can do that because we know how much all these atoms weigh. So carbon atoms weigh 12.011 atomic mass units. So there's 55 of them. So in total, that's 660.59 atomic mass units. Hydrogen atoms weigh 1.0079 atomic mass units. And we got 104 on average, 104 atoms, hydrogen atoms. So that's 104.83 atomic mass units in total. And oxygen atoms weigh 15.999 atomic mass units. And there's 6 oxygen atoms in a triglyceride. So that's 95.994 atomic mass units. So if you without getting too technical, oxygen and hydrogen atoms combine to form water, H2O. So 4 of the 6 oxygen atoms combine with carbon, and 2 combine with hydrogen atoms to form H2O, and that's water. And the rest comes out as carbon dioxide. So 84% of fat molecules go out as carbon dioxide, and 16% leaves the body as water. So for every kilo of fat you lose, it has actually converted into 840 grams of carbon dioxide. It doesn't appear to weigh anything because you just breathe it out, but it has mass, and out it goes. For every kilo of fat you lose, 840 grams go out as carbon dioxide, which you just breathe out of your body. And 160 grams go out as water, which you either wee, cry, or sweat out of your body. So when you do exercise, you breathe more rapidly and you sweat more, and so you use more carbon dioxide, which, if you get to the point where you're using more of that energy than you require, then you do the you're essentially converting fat cells into carbon dioxide. But before you think, I'll just sit around on my sofa, I continue to eat my cakes and my cookies, but rather than do a bit of going down the gym, I'll just breathe a lot more. Well, I wouldn't bother, because if you breathe a lot more quickly to lose weight, you'll just hyperventilate, and that's definitely not a good idea. So
if that's the conclusion you come to, then you got more problems than
you got more problems than just losing weight. But to put on weight, it's really easy. Anyone can put on weight if you just eat more energy than you use. And to lose weight is the opposite. Anyone can lose weight if you just use more energy than you eat. It's very easy if you put it like that, but obviously a lot of people have difficulty in doing this. It's kind of, it takes a lot of willpower, or does it? Do we have willpower? Do we have consciousness? Do we have free will? I don't know. But if you do have free will, then that's what you need to do. We all kind of get that, I guess. But you need to, when you lose weight, all that weight just disappears as mostly breathing and a little bit as wee, and that's it. Goes out as carbon dioxide, as water. There you are.
That's a cool
Doesn't
answer.
just disappear. Thank you very much.